Welcome to the Town Board Reorganization Meeting. Please rise and salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Emergency exits are behind the town clerk and also the door you came in. Roll, please.
Supervisor Purdy?
Here.
Councilpersons Doyle? Here. Gutierrez?
Here.
Blackman?
Here.
Rebellard?
Here.
Okay, the way we usually do this is we each take a turn reading the motion or resolution. So I'll do the first and then Damien the second, and we'll just go around. Motion to accept Town of Amenia Rules of Procedure, Committee Guidelines, and Procurement Policy. I make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Purdy?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Rebellard?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Motion to establish date, time, place for scheduled town board meetings. Business workshop, first Thursday of the month, 7 p.m. Regular meeting, third Thursday of the month, except December, 7 p.m. Place Town Hall, 4988 Route 22, Amenia, New York, 12501. Make that motion.
I'll second.
Supervisor Purdy?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Rebellard?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes. Motion to establish elected and appointed official salaries as noted.
You have to read them,
Oh, you want me to read them all? Okay.
please.
Supervisor, $26,613. Councilperson, $6,319. Sole assessor, $31,621. Justice A, $18,727. Justice B, $18,727. Town clerk, $38,950. Highway superintendent, $68,415.
I'll second.
I'll make the motion.
Damien? Doyle? Supervisor Purdy?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Rebellard?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
We're going to a resolution number.
So we're going to be beginning with number 1.
Okay. Resolution number 1 of 2023 to appoint Ian C. Lindars, Esquire of Stanger, Diamond and Glass, LLP, as town attorney. Ian Lindars, Esquire, $200 an hour. Litigation, $245 an hour. Paralegals, $125 an hour. Legal assistance, $85 an hour.
And there's also a resolution you need to read with that.
The resolution underneath it.
So within our packet, following,
Okay, you'll see number 5. There'll be a 5 in the right-hand corner. That's the resolution you'll read.
So resolution number 1, correct?
correct.
Resolution employing legal services of the Town of Amenia Town Board for calendar year 2023 to be it resolved that Ian C. Linders, Stanger, Diamond and Glass is hereby employed and retained for the purposes of furnishing the Town Board such legal advice and services as may be required by the town during calendar year 2023, and may be further resolved that Ian C. Linders, Esquire of Stanger, Diamond and Glass, LLP, shall be paid in accordance with the engagement letter submitted to the town supervisor dated November 1, 2022. And it be further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute engagement of agreement. Make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Rebellard?
Yes.
Resolution number 2, I assume, of 2023, to appoint Shane J. Egan, Esquire of Capellino, Rothschild and Egan, LLP, for tax certorial matters. Donald Capellino, $245 an hour. Jeffrey Rothschild, $245 an hour. Shane Egan, $245 an hour. Elizabeth Capolino, $245 an hour. Jesse Gleason, $245 per hour. Robert Marvin, $245 per hour. Paralegals and law clerks, $125 an hour.
I'll make that motion.
And there's a corresponding resolution
Oh.
that goes with that. It's number
course there
6.
Okay. Six. Resolution number 2 of 2023, resolution employing legal services to the Town of Amenia Town Board for calendar year 2023 for taxatorial matters. Be it resolved that Shane J. Egan Esquire of Capolino, Rothschild and Egan LLP is hereby employed and retained for the purposes of furnishing to the Town Board such legal advice and services as may be required by the Town Board during the calendar year 2023 for taxatorial matters. And be it further resolved that Shane J. Egan Esquire of Capolino, Rothschild and Egan LLP shall be paid in accordance with the engagement letter submitted to the Town Supervisor dated November 29, 2022. And be it further resolved that the Town Supervisor is hereby authorized to execute the engagement agreement. I'll make that motion.
Give it to Damian. Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
Motion to accept appointments and salaries as noted. Bookkeeper Marge Arnold, 24 hours a week, $28.42 an hour. Alternate per diem bookkeeper Lorna Sherman, $25 an hour. Bank reconciliation clerk for the supervisor, Michelle Samaji, $515 salary. Treasurer Water District, Victoria Jasmine, $4,209 salary. Clerk Water District, Nancy Nowak, $4,293 salary. Director of Finance, Victoria Perotti, $7,800 salary. Secretary to Supervisor, Annette Culligan, 20 hours a week, $17.64 an hour. Typist to Supervisor, Nancy Nowak, 20 hours a week, $16.89 an hour. Building Inspector, Thomas Basile, 40 hours a week, $35 an hour. Code Enforcement, Michael Singleton, 30 hours a week, $28.48 an hour. Building Clerk, Joan Roberts, 32 hours a week, $16.48 an hour. Building File Clerk, Nicole O'Hearn, 14 hours a week, $15.50 an hour. Tax Collector, Dawn Marie Klingner, $8,500 salary. Registrar of Vital Statistics, Dawn Marie Klingner, $10 per transaction. Deputy Town Clerk, Erica Howard, 26 hours a week, $17.29 an hour. Record Management for Town Clerk, Christine Chamberlain, 16 hours a week, $16 an hour. Bank Reconciliation Clerk for Town Clerk, TBA. Secretary, Planning and Zoning Board, Judy Westfall, 40 hours a week, $17.46 an hour. Planning Board Chairman, Robert Boyles Jr., $2,800 stipend. Zoning Board of Appeals Chairman, John Metcalf, $2,000 stipend. Assessor Clerk, Donna Morrison, $25 an hour. Assessor Aide, Amanda Chamberlain, $16,995 salary. Real Property Data Lister, John Lloyd, $19.50 an hour. Constable Francis Lansing, $17.29 an hour. Chief Constable Abdur Mohammed, $16.79 an hour. Constable Marcos Mendoza, $15.97 an hour. Constable Justin Rameau, $15.97 an hour. Constable Jose Caraballo, $15.50 an hour. Constable Christopher Simmons, $15.50 an hour. Justice Clerk Maureen Moore, $18,761 salary. Justice Clerk Dawn Marie Klinger, $18,761 salary. Working Supervisor Paul Voorhees, $27.50 an hour. Highway Equipment Operator Darren Peterson, $26.93 an hour. Highway equipment operator Preston Vincent, $25.18 an hour. Highway equipment operator John Williams, $26.32 an hour. Highway equipment operator Jay Spock, $25.72 an hour. Account clerk typist Judith Carlson, 15 hours a week at $18.18 an hour. Custodian John Nowak, 20 hours a week, $25 an hour. Recreation groundskeeper Sean Howard, $20.80 an hour. Assistant recreation groundskeeper Charles Mayville, $17.64 an hour. Recreation supervisor Kelly Milano, 10 hours a week, $16.23 an hour. Recreation director, TBA, to be determined. Audiovisual technician Mike Flint, $6,866 salary. Animal control officer Maria Genovese, $9,990 salary. Grant writer Mike Haggerty, $30.61 an hour. And I make that motion?
Second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Rebelard?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Motion to execute agreement to spend highway funds of $280,991.37 in 2023. Make that motion.
I'll second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Rebelard?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Leo?
Motion to make the following appointments without salaries. A deputy supervisor, Vicki Doyle, town historian to be determined, deputy ZBA chairman, David Menegot, deputy planning board chair, Anthony Robustelli, all hazard mitigation, Victoria Perotti, records management officer, Dawn Marie Klingner, deputy tax collector, Erica Howard, deputy registrar of vital statistics, Erica Howard. So moved.
Second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Rebelard?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Motion to approve $1 million bondings for the town officials. Supervisor, deputy supervisor, secretary to town supervisor, bookkeeper, and alternate bookkeeper each, town clerk, deputy town clerk each, tax collector and deputy tax collector each, code enforcement officer and administrative assistant each, planning and zoning board of appeals secretary, justices 2 each, court clerks 2 each, constables 2 each, highway superintendent and working supervisor each.
It was 4 constables.
4.
You said 2.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Brett, you're moving that?
Oh, go ahead.
Discussion.
What?
We need to move, but you need to move, right? Some-
He didn't move for it?
No.
No.
You guys are...
Yes.
Thank you. So he'll move it, and then Vicki, you'll second it for
Uh-huh.
discussion. Thank you.
We have 6 constables listed.
So that should be 6.
Correct. Good catch.
Okay. Motion to establish mileage reimbursement at a federal rate of
Need roll.
65.
We didn't vote on
Oh,
that
sorry.
yet.
Sorry.
Supervisor Perotti? No, it's okay. We'll get it.
Yeah.
I won't let it happen. Supervisor
Moving
Perotti?
along.
Victoria?
Yes.
Okay. Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Rebelard?
Yes, I think.
Okay. Motion to establish mileage reimbursement at the federal rate of 65.5 cents per mile. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Rebelard?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Motion to prepay bills by resolution, utilities, postage meter, copy machine maintenance, rents, debt service, credit card, ambulance, employee benefits, New York State retirement, and New York State unemployment insurance prepay. I make that motion.
Second.
Doyle. Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Motion to name M&T Bank Corp., Bank of Millbrook, and Salisbury Bank and Trust Company the official depositories for town funds.
I'll second that.
Make the motion.
Leo. Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes. Motion to designate the Millerton News as the official town newspaper. So moved.
Second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Motion to authorize all boards to use tape recorders for aid with minutes and with the understanding that the tape does not replace typed and accepted minutes. I'll make that motion.
Second.
You guys are so tied.
Doesn't matter.
I can hear you.
We both.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes. Question. Do we need to say something about meetings that are on Zoom in terms of recording them? We don't say,
I think that's governed by the state open meeting law.
and this isn't?
No, this is something that we
Came up
Make our
with
own
special?
Policy, it's our own
Okay.
policy.
Yeah, this is our own policy.
Okay.
We would be bound by anything that the state told us to do.
So this came about back in the day when we used to use a physical tape recorder. I don't do that. I have Mike
Right.
and we have
Video.
YouTube. So I don't know, well, planning and zoning,
Yeah,
I think
other
Judy
ones
still.
can.
So
Yeah, they
it's
do.
other committees that still,
What's a tape?
I'm not sure. It's like this thing, it goes.
What, a tape recorder? You mean we should come up with a different term for it, are you suggesting?
How about digital recording?
She doesn't use digital, does she?
We'll just leave out, just put a general recorder.
Or not?
Okay. Motion to accept town board appointments to standing committees and boards as noted. Recreation Commission, Councilman Blackman. Amenia Housing Board, Councilman Blackman. Enhancement Committee, Councilman Revelard. Conservation Advisory Council, Councilwoman Doyle. Emergency Response Safety Committee, Councilman Gutierrez. Board of Ethics, Councilman Gutierrez. Wastewater Committee, Councilman Revelard. Industrial and Commercial Incentive Board, Councilman Gutierrez. Comprehensive Plan Review Committee, Councilwoman Doyle. Planning Board, Councilman Blackman. Zoning Board of Appeals, Councilwoman Doyle.
Alternate.
Oh, sorry, alternate to all standing committees, Supervisor Perotti. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it because I have a question.
Go ahead.
Wouldn't it be easier, I know we sort of did all this by email, but it seems like it would be easier if we just sort of figured that out in a meeting where we can sort of make it happen at one time. Otherwise, it seems to put sort of pressure on the person who's recording it. which just
Recording
seems-
what?
I'm sorry?
What are you talking
I'm
about?
suggesting that we should just discuss which of us takes which committees in person rather than doing it by email. It just seems like the emails are going through Nat, I believe, or Nancy.
Nancy is the one who puts this document together.
Right, but it seems like it would be good if the board actually, I mean, I appreciate the fact that she did that, but it seems like it would be a good idea for the board just to sort of do that so we can kind of trade horses. Or know what's happening.
Well,
what's happening.
basically, all she wants to know is what your preference is.
Right.
And I don't believe we need to discuss that in a board meeting, because everybody has individual preferences.
Right. I'll also note that Nancy or Ned, I'm sorry, which one did this?
Nancy.
Nancy, that the last list didn't have anything for Damien or for Brad, which she said was the one that was going to be presented tonight, which isn't the one that's presented tonight.
No,
So
She
this
sent
is,
an updated one.
what difference does it
Yeah, I
make?
got that.
what difference does it make? Because the one I saw only had appointments for me and for Vicky. And I
Well-
called her today to find out if that was the final one or if it had been updated. And she said, that's the final one, it hasn't been
Well,
updated.
she apparently thought you had this one.
Ah, okay.
She sent out an updated one with everybody. After Brad and I emailed her with our preferences, she sent
Okay.
out an updated one.
All right, that's kind of strange, but okay. I will see what happened to it.
It's the first time I've seen it, but it is possible I did not see it. I think over the holidays, it's just very hard to
Yeah, she sent it on the 29th. to
track all of
us.
that. Okay.
Okay.
But I do like the idea of one person for each committee, and then if anyone else on the board would like to attend any of the other committees or boards, they're more than welcome to do so.
Okay, great.
But the person who's actually the liaison is the one who would report back to the board.
Great.
Okay?
Yeah, I think that's a lot more efficient because I think in what I was doing, and there's so much redundancy. It's especially with the CAC or something you've been involved with for many, many years.
Well, I think this was a good idea, and,
Yeah.
Going forward, we'll just try to, make it more efficient for everybody.
Thank you. I think we have to vote on it, though.
Roll.
I'm just making sure.
No, that was it.
Supervisor
I know,
Brody.
you wouldn't want to.
Supervisor Prodi,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Revelard,
Yes.
Blackman.
Yes.
It's not my order.
Okay, motion to designate emergency interim successors for Dutchess County Emergency Response. Council members Vicky Doyle, Brad Revelard, Leo Blackman. I make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Revelard,
Yes.
Blackman.
Yes.
Motion to appoint Supervisor Victoria Perotti to represent the town of Amenia at the 2023 Association of Towns meeting in New York City.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Revelard,
Yes.
Blackman.
Yes.
Motion to authorize supervisor's bookkeeper to pre-audit functions, vouchers including math, accuracy, checking for sales slips, delivery slips, and paid bills by municipal employees receiving goods in addition to the town clerk's office, reviewing of all vouchers for monthly claims to be paid. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Revelard,
Yes.
Blackman.
Yes.
We skipped Leo.
Yeah.
You skipped me?
Yeah. I read 18, Brad read 19.
Oh my God, you did skip me.
Sorry.
Okay, I'll read 20. Motion to authorize a charge of $20 on each check tendered as payment and return for insufficient funds, including lost payroll checks. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Revelard,
Yes.
Blackman.
Yes.
Motion to authorize the supervisor to make certificate of deposit and money market investments of available funds. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Revelard,
Yes.
Blackman.
Yes.
Motion that RBT will perform the annual cash audit procedures as required in Town Law Section 123 and the Uniform Justice Court Act Section 2020A, and as described in the fiscal oversight responsibilities of the governing board published by the New York State Controller's Office. These procedures will be applied to the offices of the tax collector, town clerk, and justice courts for the year ended 12/31/22. I make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Revelard,
Yes.
Blackman.
Yes.
Motion that all monthly bank reconciliations of town clerk and town bookkeeper be made by an outside party. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Supervisor Prodi,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Revelard,
Yes.
Blackman.
Yes. Motion that monthly budget reports are distributed to all department heads, and the complete monthly budget report is distributed to the town clerk for public viewing by town bookkeeper. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Revelard,
Yes.
Blackman.
Yes.
Number 24.
25.
25.
There it is. Sorry about that. Motion that the town board has the responsibility to authorize an attendance of all officers, employees at conferences and training sessions as required for General Municipal Law 77-B. Make that motion.
I'll second.
Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Rabelard?
Yes.
Motion to accept the 2023 schedules for the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Planning Board. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have to read the schedule or no?
Well,
You
it's
have a
not,
schedule?
we
They
have it?
are in your packets. They're the next.
I don't believe you have to read them.
Okay.
No, you have them.
Great.
They'll be put on the website.
But for those watching, since it was brought up, it's the second and fourth Wednesday of the month for planning board meetings, and your ZBA meetings are held on the third Monday of the month.
You need a second?
We got Leo did that.
Okay.
So Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
yep.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Rabelard?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Motion to appoint the following members to committees, boards. Planning Board, Robert Boyles Jr., Chair, Anthony Robustelli, Neil Kusnix, John Stephanopoulos, Matt Deister, Nina Peak, James Walsh. Zoning Board of Appeals, John Terry Metcalf, Chair, Dave Menegat, Paula Pelosi, James Wright, Tracy Saladay, alternates Craig Miley, and there's an open seat. Board of Assessment Review, Steve Bernadette, Chair, Lawrence Levine, Anthony Robert, George Petranson, and there is an open seat. Recreation Commission, Paul Winters, Chair, Linda Gregory, Peter McCaffrey, Nicola Hearn, Joshua Simpson. Board of Ethics, Charlotte Murphy, Chair, Lorenzo Schiaffani, Robert Ritovic, and there's 2 open seats. Conservation Advisory Council, Michael Peak, Mark Doyle, Christine Gast, Sharon Kroger, Rhett Roback, Stacy Mantle, Nancy Schaefer. Emergency Response Committee, Christopher Howard, Chair, Victoria Perotti, Megan Chamberlain, Tim Shea, Margot D'Antonio, Mike Singleton, Justin Rameau. Enhancement Committee, Eric Eschbach, Mark D. O'Brien, George Petranson. Amenia Housing Board, Jeff Barnett-Winsby, Charlie Miller, Manawar?
Manower.
Ahmed, Matthew Schnepp, Shannon Roback, Joshua Franco, Gabe Paris. Wastewater Committee, Jim Wright, John Stewart, Paul Winters, Charlie Miller, Shannon Roback, Bill Flood, Matthew Schnepp. Industrial and Commercial Incentive Board, Catherine Lee, Tracy Saladay, Nina Peak, Lorenzo Schiaffani, James Wright. Comprehensive Plan Review Committee, Nancy McKenzie, Anthony Robustelli, Michael Peak, Nina Peak, Bill Flood, Manower, Ahmed. Paula Pelosi. Can I make that motion?
I'll second it with a comment. A lot of these committees have chairs and it's not noted.
Well,
so-
but that's because they're supposed to meet in January and choose a chair,
Oh, so that the,
so that they can keep the same chair as they had last year.
okay. All right.
But that's what they should do.
Okay.
I have a resignation email from Eric Eschbach as of 5:41 today that I circulated to the town board and to Dawn Marie. I think we should just, do we have to accept his resignation and then cross him off this list? I'm not sure.
We're in the
The
middle of a
timing.
vote on this, so what we can do is make an
Complete the vote.
amendment to the motion to remove his name.
I also have a question. My recollection is that we had 4 on the Board of Ethics.
No, there's 3.
Jeff was on there. Did he resign?
He resigned from something else this week.
Those are the only 3 we've had for quite a while on there.
No, Jeff was on last year.
Okay, we can add him. Okay, so we'll add Jeff Barnett-Winsby to Board of Ethics. And there'll only still be 1 open seat. So that's the motion as amended.
Second.
Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes?
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Fablelard?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness, sorry.
I wasn't sure who it was.
It's me. Just looking for resignation. No. Motion that the town clerk maintains custody of all original records, minutes, contracts, grants, and documents from the committees, boards, and vendors. Make that motion.
I'll second.
Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Fablelard?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
We're up to resolution number 3.
Resolution number 3 of 2023 to appoint RBT as municipal CPA support. And
Okay, go ahead.
the resolution reads, be it resolved that RBT CPAs LLP, certified public accountants, are hereby retained for the purposes of furnishing such accounting assistance and consultations as may be needed by the town supervisor and town bookkeeping staff, as such services may be required from time to time during the calendar year 2023. And be it further resolved that RBT CPAs, LLPs, certified public accountants, are hereby retained to audit the accounts, books, records, and reports of the town justice court and town tax collector for the year 2023. And be it further resolved that RBT CPAs, LLP, certified public accountants shall be paid in accordance with their engagement letter addressed to the town justices, tax collector, and town supervisor dated October 20th, 2022. And be it further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute the engagement agreement. I'll make that motion.
Okay, we need to amend that
Oop.
resolution to be town justices, tax collector, and town clerk, not town supervisor.
Oh,
And I guess I just add town clerk to that in addition to town supervisor.
Add it, or, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they'll be doing the books and records of the town justice court and town tax collector in addition to the town clerk and town clerk.
Second, I think if it wasn't.
Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Fablelard? Blackman?
yes.
Yes and yes. Resolution number 4, 2023, to adopt fee schedules for the billing department.
For the town clerk's office. You're doing the wrong one.
It's
You
30.
need to do 30.
Oh, I see, I skipped one. Thank you. Uh-huh. All right. Resolution number 4, 2023, to adopt fee schedules of the town clerk's office. Make that motion. Gotta read it. Resolution adopting town clerk's fee schedule, whereas the town clerk of the town of Amenia has submitted an annex to fee schedule for consideration of the town board, whereas the town clerk has reviewed the proposed fee schedule, hereby seeks to adopt the proposed fee schedule for the year 2023. Now and therefore be it resolved as follows. The recitations of the fourth above are incorporated in the resolution and is fully set forth and adopted herein. The town board and the town of Amenia hereby adopts the proposed town clerk fee schedule annexed to here and made as a part of hereof effective January 1st, 2023. I make that motion.
Second.
Uh-oh.
Somebody's got to move.
You just have to motion to the motion.
20 minutes, nobody
You
moves.
can't sit that still for too long.
Supervisor Purdy.
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle.
Yes.
Gutierrez.
Yes.
Blackman.
Yes.
Rattlemacher.
Yes.
These schedules number.
31, resolution number 5
Yes.
of 2023 to adopt fee schedules for the building department. I'll make that motion and read the resolution. Resolution number 5 of 2023, resolution adopting fee schedule for the building department. Whereas the town board of the town of Amenia is seeking to revise the building department fee schedule for the submission of applications, the issuance of building permits, amended building permits, renewed building permits, certificates of occupancy, operating permits, fire safety and property maintenance inspections, and other actions of the code enforcement officer described in and/or contemplated in Chapter 63 of the Town Code. And whereas the Town Code Enforcement Officer has recommended that the Town Board consider increasing certain fees which have not been increased in many years. And whereas pursuant to the Town Code Section 63 to 16, the fees charged and collected for the submission of applications, the issuance of building permits, amended building permits, renewed building permits, certificates of occupancy, operating permits, fire safety and property maintenance inspections, and other actions of the code enforcement officer described in and/or contemplated in Chapter 63 of the Town Code shall be established and amended by Town Board resolution. Now, therefore, be it resolved as follows. The recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as if fully set forth and adopted herein. The Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby adopts the annexed building department fee schedule effective January 1, 2023. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Discussion. The fee schedule includes, it basically has two costs for everything. So I'll give an example. Foundation permit is $100, and then in parentheses has $150. I am assuming that means that the $100 is the old fee and the $150 is the new fee,
Yes.
but it's not stated as such anywhere on the fee schedule.
Good point.
So we basically have two costs here for everything. Can we amend the resolution somewhere where it makes sense to reference the,
To reference the
Parentheses.
parentheses,
Yeah.
the fee in parentheses.
Fees in parentheses, right?
Okay.
I think it should have been just revised. And this is the December 15th version that he submitted at our last meeting. I think you guys should have been, if you guys are agreeing to the rates that he presented, they should have been revised and presented in final form. So the final form, if you hand that, that's what should be attached to this resolution, not
I
in the
know, but
format.
we can amend the resolution to acknowledge that the fee in the parentheses is the revised fee.
That won't be clear when you add it on the website. We
It's
should-
not
no,
going
no.
on the website like this. It's going on the website with only the new fees.
So I'll amend my motion to state that the fees without the information in parentheses that reference the old form, the old numbers and language.
I'll second that.
Can you please clarify? I'm sorry. You're amending it to say the ones that are not in the parentheses? You mean
That
to
are
say
in the
that
parentheses.
That, to
It's
not
hard to hear.
include the ones in the parentheses that reference the old, I'm sorry, so you're right. So we are only including the ones in the parentheses, which are the current proposed.
Thank you.
And
Okay. Amend to accept those in parentheses, because this is what goes. This is what I'm given. Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Wow, I'm sorry. Some of the new costs are not in parentheses. This is challenging. So like a building without a permit,
Then they won't be changing.
well, we just amended the motion to implement the new costs in parentheses. Some of the new costs, like a building without a permit, or if a permit is revoked, those are new, but they're not in parentheses. This is a bit of a mess, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, where's building
Yeah,
without
I
a
don't see
permit?
that.
The last, like in the last page, the last two things, those are both new. So now, if you,
What is new?
building without a permit, if you build without a permit, now the fee is doubled. Doesn't actually specify which fee, but I'm assuming that means permit fee. Down here?
Oh, down there, okay.
Yeah. And then
Right.
if a permit is revoked, 10% of the original fee is retained. Those are both new, as far as I'm
Right.
aware.
No, they're not.
Are you sure? I think they are.
If someone builds without a permit, we've always doubled the building fee.
So that language pertains to what's in the new, in the parentheses.
Yeah,
That's how I'm reading it.
it's not new.
Is building without a permit listed above?
Building without a permit
Down the very top.
is,
On the very top, you said?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's not what it was, no.
Well, the regular permit fees are. If someone goes ahead and starts building without the permit, whatever
Right,
building permit they come in for, it gets doubled.
okay.
So it's not on here, the building permit fee is not listed here?
It is.
All the building permit fees are there,
What
Okay.
about the note under ag?
but that's been in all the old fee schedules.
So the note says, for any work requiring a permit which is not listed in this fee schedule, the fees shall be calculated by taking the administrative fee for the category of work plus the cost of construction.
That probably needs, that does need to be clarified.
I don't really understand. I'm sorry, I'm so confused.
No, it's also a little weird because is it
That one's very
referring to?
confusing.
Huh?
That one's very confusing.
That one's very confusing.
Yeah.
The fee is the cost of construction? So if you build $1 million barn?
Be interesting, but I'm not sure also whether that just applies to agricultural. It seems like it is for all of them, like for all the categories, so I think that just needs to be clarified.
Can we table this until we get a final copy?
Very good idea.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that.
I mean, but we're in the middle of a vote, so.
Move to table it.
I don't think you can table in the middle of a vote.
We can vote no.
I'll vote no then? What do I have to do, no?
Somebody's moving to table it, we're stopping, but, sorry,
You
no,
can't
do
table in the
no.
middle of a vote.
The last three have to just vote no.
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 Okay.
So this motion fails. And then you can continue on,
We'll just-
knowing what you guys want to do. You're not tabling it, you're going to bring it back in January 19th.
Right. With some clarification in addition to the, yeah.
Well, we need to have whatever is going to go on the website.
Right, but the thing under agricultural, the note under agricultural, and the note at the end definitely should be made a little clearer.
Okay, we can do that. We'll just bring it up put it on the agenda for the 19th.
Okay. Am I up?
I think it's Victoria's
Oh,
turn.
good.
Is it?
Yes.
Victoria.
Wow, you're like right on tonight. Keep
She wrote down. his
track of
points.
everybody.
What?
It's your turn, right?
Yeah. I was just waiting until you,
Got unconfused.
yeah.
Leo, maybe you should move a little bit more so the lights don't go out.
Motion to execute Resolution 6 of 2023, adopting water rates for Town of Amenia Water District 1. This is Resolution 6. Resolution adopting proposed water rates for Town of Amenia Water District Number 1. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Amenia is seeking to revise the water rates for the Town of Amenia Water District Number 1 to address the increased costs associated with the operation and maintenance of the water district, whereas pursuant to Town Code 119-18A, usage rates shall be established and revised by Town Board resolution. Now therefore be it resolved as follows: the recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as if fully set forth and adopted herein. 2, the Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby adopts the proposed water rates annexed hereto, made a part of thereof to take effect as of January 1, 2023. And I make that motion.
I'll second it because I have a question or a comment. There were two things, actually. The first is that this doesn't really give us a sense of what these numbers mean, what the increases mean in terms of what it costs to run the water system. It would be really helpful to kind of understand how it impacts that. I mean, I see the increased revenue, but...
It isn't, first of all, the laboratory costs have tripled.
I'm not saying that we shouldn't do this. I'm just saying it
Yeah.
isn't explained. I mean, in other words, that these numbers...
That would be in your operating statement you get every month with the water district. It has all the expenses and how much it costs, how much each, what it costs to run the water district.
Yeah, I guess I'm just saying we're going to the trouble of reading all these resolutions, but something like that is not something that everyone in our TV audience is necessarily going to be able to do. It just seems to me that if the water district was a little clearer to the town board about where these numbers come from, it would just make me feel more comfortable voting on it.
What do you mean come from?
I mean that we're talking about increasing the amount of revenue generated, and I don't have a problem with the increases because it seems very low to me in terms of, I know it's low compared to other nearby towns.
Actually, we're the lowest in the county.
Right, so I don't think it's a problem raising it. What I would like to know is how the existing revenue generated, whether that's adequate to what it actually costs to run the system, to operate the system.
I think that would be a great question for the water committee.
There's a water committee?
We don't have
No, there
one.
isn't.
Exactly.
There's supposed to be a water committee.
Well,
I think.
nobody wants to be on it. So
They haven't met in years.
as far as the
I'm just-
expenses goes, I can have the bookkeeper run a report on each line item, and
I don't even need it for each line item. I just want to know generally if we're...
we are barely covering our expenses.
But that's what I want to see on
Yeah, we
paper.
barely covered them for this,
Okay.
for this year.
But seeing it this way it doesn't explain that. So it would be good for the board to have that information when we're approving this, that's
I
all.
think Leo brought up a really good point too, saying that it should be clear on the website, for people who, if they want it, or to see
What be
why,
clear?
what the rate increases are based on, just some basic numbers, not a whole book, of course, but just to
Well,
say,
we could put all that on the website in addition to the rates.
yeah, just a little,
Explain the upcoming projects that are mandated by the federal and state.
But those are,
That's a huge increase to
Yeah.
I was actually just about to raise that because the other piece is
The
we
lead
got...
and copper inventory.
Right, but we also got prices for upgrading the water system so it functions. And when we looked at wastewater, we actually knew how that would impact the rates for people paying for that. With all this stuff, we don't know how much it might increase in the future, what the impact would be of future work on the water system. So I would just encourage our engineer to try to figure that out, because the engineer for wastewater did all the calculations to know, with the money borrowed and all, how much that's going to require, or how that'll impact the monthly rates for people in
Well,
the
to
district.
increasing the fees is just to make sure that we can cover all the expenses in the water district.
Oh, I totally understand that, Victoria. I'm just saying that the cost of the improvements we're talking about is so much larger than this, that it would...
We're not talking about the improvements with the increase. We're just talking about the basic expenses.
I understand that,
Of
Victoria.
running it day to day.
I understand that. What I'm talking about is that when we did the wastewater system, they actually looked at how much it would increase monthly, I mean, how much the monthly rates would be. The water district, the report didn't do the same thing in terms of looking at what it will cost if that gets built, and I think that's really important for the board to know. So I propose that the wastewater engineer do the calculations to figure that out.
Figure what out?
Okay.
The expense, with the cost of,
The cost, we've been debating with wastewater about what the monthly cost is going to be for people in the district, because people in the district, in that district, have to vote on what their
okay,
annual
but
cost.
that's a new system, and it's completely different from the water.
I know that. I'm just suggesting that we should have that information, because when we review the wastewater information...
Okay, so you would like an engineer to put that together?
Yes,
Okay.
that's
We
all.
can do
just
that.
simply-
That's so much simpler, Leo.
I thought that's what I was saying.
But,
Well, Ken
I
says
mean,
he
we
can never
have someone
understand me,
here
so-
from the water district who could probably
Yeah,
help
Marco,
us
do you wanna-
understand operating expenses and how these water rates are going to help overcome the deficits that we're experiencing in operations, and that the capital expenses are going to, how that's different, and where our capital reserve fund and how that's used to help with the emergency repairs and things. Is that possible for you to come up and just quickly summarize?
I can't summarize the dollar amounts right now.
Okay.
I can only summarize that the projects being planned for this year, coming up, is, the next 2 years actually, is the lead service line. That's your number one priority. There is no way around that. And the other thing would be, which we're trying to work on, is the well relocations, the new wells. Other than that, nothing else is planned.
And these increased water rates will help offset those costs as we move towards
And the
those?
laboratory cost,
Yeah, sorry, and you're right. The laboratory costs went up.
because the Department of Health
I'm
has
saying, I'm
more,
going to tell you probably at least 50% to 100% increase in
because
laboratory
of
costs.
Department of Health requirements
And
increase.
just not even the costs from the health department that requires those samples. The labs themselves, the sample costs have gone up tremendously. So do we have an adequate number there? I cannot tell you that at this time, because the numbers that are being shown tonight, first time I'm seeing them.
Oh, you weren't involved in helping to estimate?
Not the increase of them. Not the increase of them. I would like to see,
Nancy actually sent it to you,
no,
but he wouldn't necessarily
I'm-
be involved in what the increase would be.
Right.
Okay, well, here's my concern.
Yeah.
A, since Marco is the operator, he probably should be consulted about that. B, the number for the lead survey is one piece of work that has to be performed. We don't know whether these increases take that into consideration, or whether they're just to sort of take care of lab costs and operating the system, which
right.
seems like we don't have enough money for now with
This
the fees we're
increase is-
charging.
This
Well, we
increase, I'm
don't.
assuming, is just to cover normal operations.
That's what I thought.
The lead service line, what we proposed earlier last year, the price of that is going to be greater, is going to be a lot greater.
That's why what I'm asking is both for the lead
Because we're-
service project
Yep.
and also for the well relocation.
The well relocation, I can tell you right now, those prices are going to be increased.
Right,
Because of the economy and what it takes right now. It's not
Okay.
even my cost, it's,
but we don't have any idea of how this is going to impact future rates in the district, which the board should be aware of.
that's right.
So what I'm asking is, when they did the report on the wastewater, they had to also calculate how that would impact the borrowing costs and the capital costs would impact.
That was for last year's rates, right, for 2022's rates. That was the rates for that, for the wastewater. The 2023 rates, everything has gone up. So the rates that you have from your wastewater, unless they put a factor in there of inflation.
They did.
Okay, good, then those numbers should reflect that according to CPA, or CPI index, right?
Right.
So ours, right now, according to CPI index, personally, my company has not raised any rates over the years. This year, we have to.
Okay.
The labs.
That is actually a second, we haven't gotten to that yet, but we do want to,
Right.
we'll probably want to hear from them.
The labs have increased their rates 50 to 100%. I'm seeing increases.
So what is a typical quarterly rate? I'm sorry, I do the vouchers, so I should know that. But I know the chemical analysis is quite high. And so you do that quarterly or you do that monthly?
The answer is yes to all of that, because there's a sampling plan schedule that we follow. Every month, there's at minimum sampling every month. And then there's other samples that are mandated by the EPA and by the state that are either done quarterly, monthly, annually, or greater than that. So every 3 years, every 6 years, there's a sampling schedule. It's never the same, never the same.
Okay.
Now, those costs, like I said, we just got the new sampling rates in this week. I was shocked how high they are. And the fees that they're charging now. They're charging you fees to drop off a sample. They're charging you fees to dispose of the sample, on top of the increase of the sample. So it's ridiculous right now, the sampling rates, the sampling. And not only that, the main laboratory in the area is owned by one company now. They bought them all out. There's another lab that we're starting to use who have slightly higher rates than we had in the past, but their turnaround time and honestly getting the sample, the results back are much quicker and they're easier to work with. So we're starting to use this new lab. There's the only lab around in the area right now. The other labs that were local are all owned by one company now, and they have the monopoly. So hands are kind of tied.
So it goes for, this rate increase will help us cover the extra cost of
Just to maintain.
analysis of the
Right.
water quality,
Right.
but they'll also cost the overall operations and maintenance. So your company, your yearly contractual fee, all of that's included, but not capital improvements. So any purchases of land or...
Like I said, I wasn't involved in that. I can't answer
You
that
don't
question.
know
I don't know what.
how these
Yep. If we were, if
that's
our
quarterly
scope-
rates are used to offset their costs? I think it's just operation and maintenance, am I
Right.
correct?
I think that's
Okay,
right.
so at least we
If-
know that.
Yeah,
Right.
if our scope was to come up with that number, we would give you that number. We were not tasked to do that.
Okay.
So what we're
So-
tasked to do is give you projects that have to be done right now.
Just to go back, because I brought up the committee half joking before, but we are supposed to have a water district committee. And they are supposed to make recommendations to the board about rates and the general status of that. We don't have that committee because we don't have the
Yeah,
volunteers to
And the
staff
history
it.
of that is there was a committee before, and we have done that. Give rate increases, priority of projects.
We advertise every year, nobody
And
has
nobody did
come
anything about
forward
it,
that
so-
wanted to be on it.
The committee just dissolved. So it was frustration over years of that.
So I guess my appeal to folks out there who live in the water district and would like to have some say and some input on this is that we really need volunteers to staff that committee.
Yes.
That committee is supposed to work with our operator, make recommendations to the town board, work with an engineer if the town board assigns someone to that project, and then, you know, ideally, it's folks who actually live in the district who are making those decisions and understand the impact to the district.
Right. Okay, but since we don't have that committee right now, Marco, what I'm basically saying is, I understand the reason that we want to increase that. I don't know, I feel like we're operating blind. I don't know whether the increases that we're talking about cover the increases for our contract with you, how they relate to what it actually costs to operate the system now. I know it doesn't include the lead project. I know it doesn't include the well project. But I think without having some information on that, it's really hard to sort of, I mean, I think, I understand the increase in rates, but I mean, before voting on it, I'd really like to know how much this is going to cover, because I wouldn't like to find out 6 months from now that, that the increase isn't adequate to deal with the testing and the increase from your firm, or the increase in electric, or whatever it might be. I want to know how much this is going to cover, and I also want to know what to expect in the future, since I'm assuming that those capital projects will at some point move ahead. It was very clear with the wastewater that the people in the district were not willing to join without knowing, what the number was going to be. So I think it would be really important to get that for water as well as wastewater.
And also something to remember, throughout the years, the rates have not increased, and there is a catch-up. So I hear what you're saying. I agree with it 100%. The rates have to increase no matter what, whether who's ever operating this, the chemical increases, electricity, like you said, everything, just the basics. And we're playing catch up now. So however the town board, how often they want to increase it, the percentage they want to increase to catch up to what they should be at, as fast as you do it, it's up to you guys. But if you want to task us to give you that number, which we've done before in the past, more than welcome to do that. Just a reminder, that's our company. We not only do the operations, but we do the engineering, consulting. We can give you that number if you like that, if that's what you want us to do.
Okay, the number we're talking about is the way that the rates would be impacted by the lead survey and by the water, as it was in your engineering report, right? Actually, they're both in the engineering report.
And again, those numbers were last year's numbers. So,
Right.
And right now, we're a year behind schedule for the lead service line. So I can promise you that those rates are going to be really high.
You warned us about
Not just
that.
because of us, but because of the contractors that we have to use. It's going to increase quite a bit.
Have we approved the first stage of that, Victoria? I can't remember.
No.
No.
Not approved anything yet. That's why I'm on
Okay.
hold. I've been begging for you guys to start. I mean, I got to jump through hoops now to get this done in the next 2 years.
Right.
It's not an easy job. And Ian also has to be involved tremendously with this. So this is a big ordeal.
Okay. Okay, well, it certainly seems that we have to move that ahead in terms of giving you an okay to do that. I sort of feel like we discussed that at some point during the budgeting process. But I think we should also ask for SEBI to just do the same calculation that the Ty and Bond did for the wastewater system, which is to sort of see how this is going to increase people's fees. There are a lot more people in the water district than the wastewater district, so that makes it a little less difficult perhaps, but I think we need to know that going ahead. I don't have a problem with voting on these increases now, but I would prefer to know what exactly they're going to cover and what also needs to be covered soon.
I would suggest, vote on the increases. We come back to you with a number that is going to see if that matches the operations cost with chemical usage, et cetera, et cetera. We also would, and this is going to take a little while to redo this, is the lead service line number, because I have to call contractors and get prices of 2023 rates to do this. And again, just remember, we're not the only town. Every town in the United States, every municipality, every public water supply is competing with these same contractors, and we only have a certain number that can do this certain type of excavation that we need in this area. So we're competing against everybody. They're going to want top dollar, and time is of the essence, and we cannot do this in the winter.
Yep.
So this is multiple steps that have to happen here. Record
Okay, where are
research.
we right now, Dawn?
Yeah.
Right now, you either have a choice, you guys can either vote or you can table it, or
No, we're
I don't know
not
what you're doing.
tabling, we're voting.
so Supervisor Perotti?
Hold on, I'm sorry, got a question. So could we actually talk about what the proposed rate increases are here then? So this only affects the base rate and not the
Additional,
usage over the base rate, right?
right.
So the single-family dwelling, the current base rate is $50 per month?
No,
No,
quarter.
per quarter.
Sorry.
They pay
Quarter.
for about $13 a month.
The quarterly base rate is $50 per quarter. For a multiple family dwelling, it's $55 per quarter, and a commercial business is $60 per quarter. The proposed increase would increase the single-family quarterly base rate by $25 to $75 per quarter. It would increase the multiple dwelling quarterly base rate from $55 to $110, so that's a $55 increase, and would increase commercial business quarterly base rate from $60 to $135 per quarter.
Right. Well, the multiple dwelling certainly makes sense, since presumably that's two or more
Apartments.
units. So I assume that means that the multiple dwelling number is for the whole building, not for the individual apartments, right?
Correct. As long as there's 1 meter, that's all it's built is 1 meter.
Okay. So I mean, it certainly makes sense for that to be more closer to twice what a single family pays. But
I
in
have a
it,
question.
yeah.
So the multiple dwelling units isn't based upon the number of apartments?
A multiple dwelling unit could be it's a multiple family, so apartments, anything that has more than that's classified as other than single-family residence.
So it could be 1 or 6 units, it's still the same rate?
Correct. And remember, it's water usage 1 meter going
Yeah.
through that all those people could use.
Yeah,
So it's
okay.
not individual. And I know the question you may ask is, why can't we put meters in each individual apartment? Can't do it.
No, I was just thinking, what I've seen in other municipalities is that they do make adjustments for the number of units they're serving.
As in multiplier?
Yeah, which you use for these numbers here, I'm sure.
I don't know. I mean, that's a way to look at it. You could probably do it. I don't know how it's going to, if it's fair or not, because water usage is water usage. What goes through the meter goes through the meter.
There you go.
Now-
They're going to go over
Now
on a
you're gonna
regular
have
basis, right?
one person in the apartment that doesn't use water, another person uses a ton of water. So in the end, they all should split it equally if it's according to landlord. That's the other thing, we gotta make sure that we stick to our guns too, is.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking, like I said, based upon some other municipalities I've seen, and
Yeah, I mean-
obviously if there's 1 unit, there's a factor of income. If there's 6 units, there's obviously more income.
So using that multiplier for number of units per gallon base rate.
Okay.
So the net impact to the water district would be an additional $11,000 in revenue per quarter, based on the number of accounts per type that we have and these rate increases.
So you're looking at
So it's
$44,000 a year.
$44,000. So, I mean, again, I don't have the water district operating statement in
Yeah.
front of me.
That definitely makes it much more comfortable, I believe. I want to say I don't remember off the top of my head, I'm thinking of all the different numbers of different places to take, but maybe 145K annual is what our budget is.
But was there a deficit last year, or were we
We just barely
Yeah.
barely?
made it.
And just remember,
And that's just for the regular expenses. That has nothing to do with any of the
Right, we didn't do any additional, thank God
Projects.
we didn't have a lot of water leaks last year.
Totally understand that.
I mean,
and
and then the other thing is our infrastructure is very fragile.
oh, for
I
sure.
mean, we never know where it's going to fail.
I was under the same impression as Vicky for some reason, that revenues generated through billings had to be used for operating expenses, not capital expenses.
Right.
But repair is maintenance, so operation and maintenance.
Repairs are maintenance, for sure, but, I mean, I think what Leo's concern was that, you know, if we are doing rate increases, that it would account for all the planned capital work,
Yeah,
but we also...
No, I
No, it's
wasn't
not.
saying that.
Okay.
I wasn't saying that. I wanted
We're
just to
not.
understand if we just made it last year, how this impacts this, since we know SEBI's fees go up, and we know there's testing costs that have gone up.
Chemical usage went
And,
up,
right,
electricity
and
went up.
chemicals, and we'd like to know that.
And there's just so many things that went up, so.
Right, so the point is that I'd like SEBI to look at that. I mean, we probably have to have our vote first before I can make a proposal on that, but I think, first of all, we should understand what this number represents and whether it's adequate. And secondly, I'd like to know in future how this is going to impact costs. If it's not for the districts, it's for all taxpayers, which it doesn't sound right to me, because in the wastewater district, it's just the people in the wastewater district.
Well, and it's the same way in the water
Right,
district.
so that's why I'm saying it seems really important to have some foreknowledge of what that will do to rates for water users, because it's a very big project, and, or there are two very big projects. One, the first mandated by the federal government, and the second one mandated by the sorry condition of our water system. And we don't know right now how that's, I mean, you know, whether that number, when it's figured out, is going to be bearable for people within the district. So, I mean, I know that right now it seems like it's not adequate. Hopefully with this increase, it'll take care of the things that are increasing. But the lead study has to happen. It's mandated by the federal government, and the capital projects need to happen because we, you know, our system is kind of teeter-tottering at the edge of failure.
Okay, then can we go ahead and vote?
Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilperson Doyle?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Abstain.
Councilman Blackman?
Yes.
Councilman Revelar?
Yes.
I think you're up, Brad.
No, it's Damien.
I'm up.
Oh, it's you.
All
Sorry, I
right,
read that. Okay.
resolution
Investment policy.
number 7. Motion to execute resolution number 7 of 2023, adoption of investment policy. Resolution reads, whereas the town board of the town of Amenia by resolution number 2 of 2018 adopted an investment policy for the town, and whereas the town board reviews such policy on a periodic basis in accordance with the applicable provisions of law, now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby adopts the investment policy hereto for 2023, which is attached to the resolution. Are there changes that have
No.
been made to the investment policy prior to?
No.
Okay. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilperson Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
Leo, number 34.
Okay. I'm sorry, just let
Resolution
me make
number
a
8.
note. Okay. Resolution number 34.
Resolution number 8, item number 34.
I'm sorry, thank you, resolution number 8. Item number 34, the employing legal services. No, did I reverse them?
Page 10.
Oh, that's 35, they were out of order, sorry. Okay. Now I got it. Okay, so let's try that again. Resolution number 8 of 2023, reauthorizing town constable to carry a firearm. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Amenia adopted a Town Constable Local Law Number 3 of 2007 on September 20, 2007, and whereas pursuant to the Town Constable Law Number 3 of 2007, the Town Board may adopt a resolution authorizing town constables to carry firearms while carrying out their official duties, subject to the constable complying with noted conditions. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the following town constable to carry, constables, I think, to carry the firearm identified in this resolution while carrying out his official duties as town constable. Constable Francis Lansing, a firearm which is a Glock 23 40 caliber. Constable Marcus Mendoza, a Glock 23 40 caliber. Constable Abdur Mohammed, a Glock 26 9mm and a Glock 19 9mm, and Justin Ramu, a Glock 19 9mm. Be it further resolved, the authority granted to the above-named town constable by this resolution shall be subject to the names town constable complying with the following condition. 1, the town constable must possess a New York State license to carry the authorized firearm pursuant to Penal Law Section 400 at all times and must keep proof of such license on file at Town Hall. And 2, the town constable must satisfactorily complete the Department of Criminal Justice Services basic course for peace officers with firearms and deadly physical force training and such other training as the town board and or New York State law may require. And 3, the town constable may only carry or use a weapon after the town receives confirmation that the town constable has satisfactorily completed the training course specified above, and such other and additional training and instruction as the town board may direct in its discretion. And 4, the town constable must provide the authorized firearm at his or her own cost. I'll make that motion.
I'm going to second because of a clarification. Going back to number 10, motion to approve $1 million bonding for town officials. We had, I think you brought up there were 6, or somebody said there were 6 listed, but there's only 4 on this page.
So are the other 2 not authorized to carry?
I don't have their gun information at this time, so
So that just-
we're
that
going to
means-
do a second one for the other 2.
Okay, thank you.
Good catch, good catch. 4s and 6s tonight. Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilperson Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes. All right, let me catch up. We on 35, I think?
35.
Number 9, resolution number 9.
Okay, resolution number 9, 2023, employing Town of Amenia 2023 Special Prosecutor Legal Services. Employing Special Legal Services Special Prosecutor for the Town of Amenia for calendar year 2023. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Amenia does hereby employ and retain Hillary L. Thomas, Esquire, to serve as Special Prosecutor for vehicle and traffic offenses, as well as violations of the town zoning codes and ordinances in the Town of Amenia Justice Court in accordance with the proposal dated November 30, 2022, during calendar year of 2023. And be it further resolved that Hillary L. Thomas, Esquire, shall be paid in accordance with the engagement letter submitted to the town supervisor dated November 30, 2022, and it be further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute the retainer agreement. Make that motion.
I'll second.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
Okay, Vicki,
Oh, sorry.
number 36.
Resolution number 10 of 2023, employing Town of Amenia's 2023 engineering services. employing engineering services for calendar year 2023. Be it resolved that John V. Andrews Jr., P.E. of Road, Soika, and Andrews Consulting Engineers, P.C., be and hereby is employed and retained for the purposes of furnishing to the town board, the planning board, and the town's departments and agencies such professional engineering advice and services as may be required by the town, its departments, and its agencies from time to time during calendar year 2023. And be it further resolved that John V. Andrews Jr., P.E. of Road, Soika, and Andrews Consulting Engineers, P.C., shall be paid in accordance with the fee schedule set forth in their proposal for engineering services addressed to the town supervisor dated August 23, 2022. And be it further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute the engagement agreement. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
Resolution number 11 of 2023, employing Planning and Zoning Board of Appeals 2023 legal services. Employing legal services to the Town of Amenia Planning Board and Zoning Board of Appeals for calendar year 2023. Be it resolved that David R. Everett, Esquire of Whiteman, Osterman, and Hannah, LLP, be hereby, and he is hereby employed and retained for the purposes of furnishing to the Planning Board and Zoning Board of Appeals on a need basis as special counsel for such legal advice and services as may be required by the Planning Board and Zoning Board of Appeals during calendar year 2023. Be it further resolved that David R. Everett, Esquire of Whiteman, Osterman, and Hannah, LLP, shall be paid in accordance with the engagement letter submitted to the town supervisor dated December 12, 2022, and be it further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute the engagement agreement. Is there a motion?
I'll make.
Go ahead. I'll second.
Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
12. Resolution number 12 of 2023, employing Planning and Zoning Board of Appeals, 2023 Visual Assessment Consultant. Resolution employing planning consultant services for calendar year 2023. Be it resolved that George M. Janes, AICP of George M. Janes and Associates, Incorporated, is hereby employed and retained for the purposes of furnishing to the Town of Amenia Planning Board, Zoning Board of Appeals, and the town's departments and agencies professional planning, consulting, advice, and services as may be required from time to time during calendar year 2023, and be it further resolved that George M. Janes, AICP of George M. Janes and Associates, shall be paid for such services in accordance with the fee schedule set forth in the proposal submitted to the Town of Amenia dated November 30th, 2022. Be it further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute the engagement agreement. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
Oh, I think it's me. Sorry.
Oh.
Number 13.
Good. Supposed to skip that number, right?
Resolution 13 of 2023, employing town forester for calendar year 2023. Be it resolved that Christopher Prentice, CF of Lower Hudson Forestry Services, LLC, is hereby employed and retained for the purposes of reviewing timber harvest applications, field review of harvest, as well as any other items the planning board may need for review and approval of said applications during calendar year 2023. And be it further resolved that Christopher Prentice, CF of Lower Hudson Forestry Services, LLC, shall be paid for such services in accordance with the fee schedule set forth in the proposal submitted to the Town of Amenia dated November 30, 2022. And be it further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute the engagement agreement. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes. Resolution 14 of 2023, employing a municipal financial advisor for calendar year 2023. Employing a municipal financial advisor for calendar year 2023, whereas the town board seeks to employ a municipal financial advisor to provide the town with various financial advisory services as set forth on the Annex Financial Advisory Services Agreement during calendar year of 2023. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the recitations above set forth are incorporated into the resolution as if fully set forth and adopted herein, and it be further resolved that the town board hereby employs Capital Markets Advisories, LLC, with offices at 11 Grace Avenue, Suite 308, Great Neck, New York, as municipal financial advisor for the town of Amenia the calendar year of 2023 for the purpose of providing the town with various financial advisory services as may be needed by the town from time to time hereafter, in accordance with the Capital Markets Advisors LLC proposal to the town of Amenia in substantially the same form as annexed hereunto, and it further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute the financial advisory service agreement. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes. All right, back to you, Vicki.
Okay. Resolution number 15 of 2023 to renew contract SEBI Environmental Services, Inc. for water treatment to the Water District, $42,000 contractual. Resolution number 15. Approving an agreement between the Town of Amenia and SEBI Environmental Services, Inc. for operation and maintenance of the Town of Amenia water facilities. Whereas the town is the owner of certain water district facilities located in the Town of Amenia, Dutchess County, New York, known as Town of Amenia Water District Number 1, and provides water services to residents of Town of Amenia. And whereas SEBI Environmental Services, Inc., the contractor, is a full-service environmental company which is willing, able, and qualified to provide water and wastewater operations, repair, and maintenance, among other things, to support the town's needs. And whereas the town and the contractor are desirous of entering into an agreement which sets forth in more detail the scope of services the contractor is to provide to the town and the terms pursuant to which contractor will be reimbursed for such services, the agreement. And whereas the services that contractor is to provide to the town constitute professional services which are exempt from the bidding requirements under General Municipal Law, Section 103, and whereas this is a Type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, and therefore not subject to review under SECRA. And now, therefore, be it resolved as follows. 1, the recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as if fully set forth and adopted herein. 2, that the town board hereby approves the form and terms of agreement between the Town of Amenia and contractor for operations and maintenance of the Town of Amenia water facilities, which is annexed hereto and made a part hereof. That this is a Type 2 action under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, and therefore not subject to review under SECRA. That the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute such agreement in substantially the same form as annexed hereto upon review of the attorney for the town, a copy of which will be filed and kept on record with the town clerk. I'll make that motion.
Before you vote, I'd like to discuss something with you.
We'll do that in executive session.
I'll second. And comments?
Well, in an executive session, I'd like to do that.
Oh, we're going to do that? Okay.
I have a general comment, which is the agreement we got is a red line and has a bunch of
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that.
comments that I'm not clear.
Well, basically, I mean,
Who made the comments?
Ian made comments, and then Marco responded to them. It's probably a little clearer in your
Email?
if you look at the emails that were sent, but it's still a little
It's
confusing.
not-
I mean, it certainly isn't something we can vote on, since it isn't, those issues are still sort of out there as comments.
Yeah, the comments don't attribute any, they don't indicate who the author of the comments is in the document.
Okay.
Sorry,
We're
again?
gonna,
He's commenting, he's
we're gonna go into executive session to discuss it.
Okay, so
So
we'll
we
table
don't-
this.
Yeah, we can table it for now. Any other matters?
Yes, I would like to make a resolution that we ask FCBI for a proposal to calculate the impact of the capital changes on the monthly user fees. And I'd also like that I think we should ask Ian that next time there is a resolution about giving a go-ahead for the lead line project. There was a number as to what that was going to cost so that Marco could get started. And when Marco first presented this to us, he was very clear about the competition for the services that are required, the construction services, and that prices were going to go up just because of demand. So I don't think we should hold that any longer. So I'd like Ian to prepare two resolutions to that effect for the next meeting, the 19th meeting.
Okay, second.
I'll second.
Discussion.
I second. Go
Oh,
ahead.
you did, okay, sorry.
Sorry, just to, your first resolution stated you'd like to understand the impact of the upcoming capital projects on the
User fees.
user fees. Again, Vicky, I don't know why we're both remembering the same thing, but I think the capital budget cannot be funded by user fees. It's just operating and maintenance, right? Why am I remembering it that way?
Well,
We're gonna have
Victoria
to,
clarified
we're
that.
gonna have to borrow money for
That's what I
any
would think.
capital
There's a
fees.
reserve fund
You would
for
have to
capital
bond it
improvements,
or
right?
something.
I mean, we
But I
still
mean,
have
regardless
some
of
money.
if
Not
there-
much in
Th-
there.
th-
It's
it's a-
not enough to
None.
cover.
Yeah.
It's a very common practice in many kind of like municipal budget arrangements where if you have operating revenue, that operating revenue is assigned to operating expenses, maintenance tasks, et cetera. And capital funding, capital budgets generally has to be funded separately through some other mechanism. So I just want to make sure I understand.
I did put $25,000 in the budget
We did.
for
when-
capital expenses for the water district.
And we did specifically talk to, so do you understand my,
Yeah, I understand what you're saying in terms of that, but to apply for grants for I mean, this may not be required for the water system, but for the wastewater system to apply for grants, we needed to figure out how that was going to impact rates, and all of those costs were used. I mean, all of the capital costs were included in terms of what needed to be borrowed and what ultimately everyone in the system would need to pay on a monthly basis. So I'm just
Yeah, so
asking
there's-
that we get that information because,
Somebody
you know,
needs to do those calculations for us. The operation and maintenance is absolutely separate, and capital improvements would be something you would theoretically bond or, find some extraordinary, it's,
100%? So
right?
we're
So debt
agreeing.
service would be part of their operation maintenance, projecting forward 20 years or 30 years, whatever
Right.
we bond for, but
100%.
somebody
So
has to do the numbers.
I
and
think
give
the
us-
only edit request I would make for the first resolution that you proposed is that you just remove the reference to the capital expenses. So, or just say, I'd like Sebi to provide us with an estimate of the capital expenses.
we already have the estimate of the
We
capital
already have
expenses.
that.
What we
We do.
don't have is,
Well, he said he had to update them for.
well, no, I mean, I'm sure that I don't doubt that they would increase because there's been a lot of general increase in the last year
Yep.
with
I
construction
think what you
costs.
wanted him to do is to look at the expenses there is in the water district and see if the increase in the fees is going to cover that. I believe that's what you wanted him to do.
That's what I'm asking both for the number we just approved, the increase we just approved, but also to make sure that covers the,
Projected expenses for the next year.
yes, but
Okay.
beyond that we asked to get numbers for the lead system, which I believe the lead investigation, I assume, is divided by taxpayers, not just people in the water district?
No.
No.
It's still
that's
just the water district. Okay, so we need to know what that is likely to cost, and, because that number's gonna have to be divided then, and then what the bigger project in terms of the replacing the wells and doing and acquiring land, doing the other stuff that has to happen. Victoria, I'd also note that as part of that, we should probably figure out what the cost or what the implications are, because the piece of land we're talking about would actually increase the number of users, but there would be a capital expense to run the lines.
Well, it wouldn't increase the number of users until there were people
Well, until there's
living
something
there.
built,
Yeah, they're
right?
not changing the district.
What?
They're not changing the water district.
Well, not yet, but if, I mean, there's a,
That's
I mean,
the
the
proposal.
only
idea,
being negotiated.
the idea of getting the
Yeah.
2 wells is to replace 2 other wells,
Right,
so that we can maintain what the water district needs to have.
right.
It's getting the wells isn't for future, it's for current.
Right, but in negotiating the purchase agreement, I thought we needed information in terms of what it would cost to expand the sewer lines on that piece of property.
The sewer lines?
I'm sorry, the water lines on that piece of property.
Well, the only place the water lines would be put on that property is from the wells to the pump house. And that's for the usage of the existing water district customers.
Okay, we'll talk about this the next time we're discussing the property then. Oh, but I still would like to,
So are you clear,
get
or,
a vote on,
I'm
okay,
sure
number
no
one.
one is, but.
No one is, okay, let me see if I
Ultimately,
can do
you
that
made
better.
you made multiple statements, whereas you were asking that that SCBI have the impacts of the capital changes and the user fees. Then you also went in to
Right.
further say that you want to have Ian prepare the resolutions for the matters for the next meeting. However,
No, not for that, for the next
For-
meeting. What I wanted Ian
to prepare those 2 resolutions for because you need the resolutions for the lead systems project and you wanted to ask him for the cost to get started.
Right,
So
so
you're
those are two
asking these
separate
things,
things.
but you're not really making a motion to move an act.
Okay,
To
let-
authorize your town attorney to do something.
Okay.
So now I let you guys have a
So-
full conversation. So that's that's
Thank
our
you.
resolution for
Thank you.
2023.
So let me
Preparing
break that into
resolutions,
2 pieces.
Organized.
I'd like to propose that we,
You're not proposing, you're moving a resolution to do what?
oh, I'm
To
moving a
authorize the
resolution
to authorize the
authorize,
attorney to do what?
first, to, oh my God.
You like that,
I've
huh?
been, I think.
Want to write it down and come back?
No, that's totally excellent. I'm so glad you're doing that. No, the first thing is that I would like him to have a resolution to proceed with the lead line project, to do
To
the first
authorize
payment,
SCBI?
authorize the payment.
Yes.
For
Thank you. You want me to write his
SCBI.
resolution from?
Yep.
Maybe if this had been earlier in the meeting.
I'll throw in a word here and there
Okay,
so we can
thank
get
you.
them through it.
And the second resolution I was requesting was to authorize SEBI, or ask for a proposal from, I'm not sure how we want to do that, to calculate the impact of the capital changes, the lead line project and the well projects on the monthly user fees.
So you're not really making a resolution to authorize anybody to do something. You're looking right at the man and asking him to do that.
Yeah, but
You're asking the Water District Committee, I'm sure, to help you with that.
It's the water district.
It wouldn't be,
It's a joke.
it wouldn't be the user fees paying for that.
That's my sticking point. So
There you go.
I think
We're not-
I'm sorry.
I'm going to bring them back down.
May I propose what I think Leo is, so I think what Leo is asking
Yeah,
is
take
if
a shot at it,
Sebi
Damien.
would put together a proposal that indicates the total capital needs of the water district and describe that on a per-user basis.
I think
So-
we already
You
have that.
understand that?
We
Request
discussed
he
that,
wants you to
yeah.
do?
Yeah, I understand that. There's two items here. One is to see if the rate increase matches our maintenance and operation fees.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
The second
That-
one is the
Okay, that's
request.
the one we want. Write that down. That's
Yeah,
one.
That's the one resolution. The second resolution, it's, I understand it, and to break that out to cost to the customer, we can do that. Again, it would be tough to come up with that number because we don't know what the funding would be,
Well,
right?
actually, the more important second resolution we should do is to authorize Marco to start the lead
That's-
and copper inventory.
We did budget for that, right?
Thank you.
We-
That's what I wanted the
I
second
thought we
one
had
to be.
budgeted for that, yeah,
put
but
that
we
in
haven't
the
given him a go-ahead to do it.
Right.
Yeah, the lead service line should be the second resolution to start that ASAP yesterday.
Yep,
So we should do that.
that should actually be the first of the resolutions,
And-
but, go ahead.
And I just want to apologize, Victoria, you were right, Nancy did send me that when I was in the hospital, that's why I missed that.
Okay, well, that's all right.
The rate increase, she did send me that, I just was going through my emails, I'm like, yep,
And,
she did send it to me.
and Marco and I did work on a grant and applied for funds for the lead and copper inventory, but we haven't heard back yet.
Okay.
So I think what he's saying makes sense. So to try and arrive at a per-user cost is challenging if you don't know how it's going to be funded, right?
It isn't, that isn't the case. The way the wastewater was done was assuming that the money was, that there were not grants involved, and it was going to have to be loans taken out.
Yeah, okay, we can do that if that's the way you want to do it.
Well, that's the way it was done for water, at least we have some idea.
That's acceptable.
Okay.
Right, but if there are,
I got it.
Well, it would be reduced if there are grants, but we need to know,
Okay,
worst case
so
scenario, we don't know anything.
You guys hired your attorney, he's going to be watching this if he's not already tuned in.
He's going to call in later,
Which
so
he's
you
usually
can.
good at watching these,
I
so
think
he's
it
gonna
might
know
be
the
better if
assignment.
we maybe talk about it in executive session to
Okay,
make sure he's
sure.
clear.
But
I
you
mean,
don't
we
have to
can go ahead
Give him
and
a resolution
and
to
vote on
authorize him to
the
write a resolution.
resolution to
Well, I
do
think we should
it.
give Marco a resolution while we're doing resolutions.
So do we need to vote?
Not
You're
paying
not making a
attention.
resolution, though. You're asking your attorney to prepare a resolution stating the whereases, correct?
Well,
was
we
what I
can, why
started.
don't- we'll discuss that with him when he
Whereas.
calls in.
Okay.
We're good. The attorney you've asked the attorney, and he's
He's aware.
hearing us
Okay.
on YouTube.
Okay, is there any other matters?
Yes, I just want to make sure that people
Yeah.
remember that, that I'd invited Choice Words to come in to our next meeting. That's the grant writer that I'd spoken to you about. And I sent you a previous proposal they'd prepared. Don't give me that look, Victoria. I did send it to you, I swear.
The only look I'm giving you is that last thing I heard from you is that they were coming to the 19th meeting.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that they were coming to the 19th meeting.
Right.
And that there wasn't any problem with that. That was
I
it.
don't know.
And I will send
No,
out.
I have that on my list for
Okay,
the
great.
next meeting.
And they revised their proposal to do it two different ways. One would be a kind of a monthly fee, and the other would be a per project, because it sounded like that was preferred. So I'll send that out on Monday. I just didn't want to send it with all the other stuff that was coming
Okay.
out for this meeting.
Yeah, there'll be, yeah,
Good.
I have a long list of things that need to be done for the 19th. Be prepared to be here for a while.
Okay.
We have a lot of resolutions to do.
All right. So that's all I had under other matters.
Okay, the other thing under other matters, I wanted to make a motion to authorize the town clerk to advertise for a recreation director
and
in
water
the
district
Millerton
committee.
News. What?
and Water District Committee.
No, this is to do a classified.
Okay.
I'll second. But shouldn't it go in more places than that?
Doyle.
Where?
I thought at least the Poughkeepsie Journal, but maybe
Well, the
nobody reads.
Poughkeepsie Journal, their classifieds are online. How many people are going to go online and look on them? I mean, they don't come in the paper, newspaper. And then, I mean, we're going to put it in the Millerton paper and Channel 22 and on the website. And I believe the Recreation Commission wanted to take the advertisement and post it on
Their
Dutchess Community College and New Paltz job boards, which is fine with me.
Okay. All right, we can start there and see if,
And just start there and see what
we get.
responses we get.
okay.
And we'll be, I'll give you the narrative of what to advertise, because Paul sent it to us, and Nancy and I will work on it, and we'll give it to you.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay? Is there a second?
Second.
She seconded it.
Oh, Vicky did.
Okay.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Fablelaro?
Yes.
Okay.
They could also put it on the rec portal itself.
What?
Their rec portal, like we have a separate website for the rec.
Yeah, we can put it both places. You know,
Did
it
you have
can
another
go more than one
ad
place
that you
on the
wanted me to do?
website.
Just an idea, don't need a resolution.
No, but anyone that's watching, wastewater committee has 5 open seats.
I think there are a number of committees that have open seats, so maybe we should take account of those, because,
Okay, well, I make a motion
Enhancement
to authorize the town clerk to advertise for all of the open seats on all the board and committees.
Second.
Yep.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Fablelaro?
Yes.
Yes.
I got you. I can't even Blackman.
Great. All open seats.
I would make a motion that we accept with regret the resignation of Eric Eschbach from the Enhancement Committee.
Second.
Doyle, Blackman, Damian. Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Fablelaro?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
And if that's all the other matters, supervisors, 2023 goals, complete highway garage and salt shed feasibility study, plan for construction and payment options, apply for grants to offset costs. 2, upgrade the water district with new wells and infrastructure, oversee Department of Health required lead and copper inventory, apply for grants to offset costs. Make Amenia Town Hall Kitchen a functional kitchen to prepare meals for events and a monthly free meal to meet local hunger needs. There are town board comments?
I want to second you on that. Those are all really important, important items. I'd also like to make sure that we make progress on the wastewater system. The committee's been working very hard, and I think is getting pretty close to the next step towards forming a district. And affordable housing, in the last year, Hudson River Housing has acquired property to build on, and Habitat has approached the town about building on a piece of property the town owns. So affordable housing does seem to be moving ahead. I'd like to increase the number of athletic, cultural, and educational programs available to seniors and teens. The rec committee has big plans, and the town board has found the money to hire a full-time rec director this year and a landscape architect to work on the Wasaic Park facilities, which is great. I'd like to complete another long-stalled small project, which is Fountain Square planting improvements. And I'd like to open a conversation with New York State DOT about their complete streets program for the Amenia Hamlet, which would probably involve another crosswalk and more trees and a bike lane and a sign to connect the rail trail to Main Street businesses.
Is there any other town board comments?
I was going to ask what the status is for Habitat for Humanity's proposal to try and build a house on that less
I
than 1 acre.
haven't heard back from them.
Okay, but we have authorized, we have had a green light that it is possible to transfer land
Yes.
for that project. I'll make my comments if that's okay. I am looking forward to working with the Amenia's Housing Board. I'm not on that committee, I found out, but still happy to work with them to further their goals to provide affordable housing options in Amenia in many different avenues, which includes getting a wastewater system in Amenia, in the hamlet. For CAC, I hope we can get a sense at our next meeting whether the CAC would like to have the Climate Smart Task Force to be a subcommittee of CAC or a separate entity with representation from CAC members serving as volunteers. I know I was mentioned that I would wanted to get that before the reorg meeting, and I drafted up a resolution to create it separately as the
Where is it?
it's on my computer,
Okay.
but I decided,
Actually, I have it on my, I have it
I may have
on
sent
my
you.
list for the January 19th meeting.
Oh, that's great, because I felt
You need
odd.
to send the information to Ian.
Okay. I want to first ask the CAC, as I just said, to ask them, there seem to be two options in the resolutions that have been made in this vein for other towns. And one option was to have the CAC, I think we appointed the CAC, the task force, but we have to appoint it separately. So either it's a subcommittee or it's a separate committee altogether or task force altogether. So I'll work with the CAC first to see how they want to structure that.
And then work with Ian directly
And then
to
work
do
with
the
Ian to
resolution.
do the mechanics
So it'll
of
be
it.
ready for the 19th.
Yes, and my other question is that we have two co-chairs who are willing to be the head of the task force, but do we need to interview them and appoint them separately before the resolution? We just put it right into the resolution?
Yes.
Okay, that's much easier. That's how I currently have it, but I wanted to make sure I was on the right track. The good news was received yesterday that Amenia is likely to soon have an intern assigned to us. That's an intern. She is going to help us with our Climate Smart task force activities, and her name is Julia, and she's a college sophomore at Vassar, majoring in biology. So we're excited to have someone help us move all of the heavy lifting of moving our town towards being a clean, climate smart community. Water and wastewater. I am happy to attend wastewater meetings if, Brad, if you're unable to attend or need some support, volunteer, happy to move what I can forward. I'd be supportive of any initiatives to moving the water district project forward, the multiple important infrastructure changes that we need to do to ensure that we have a safe and reliable system in place for our water district residents. I'm looking forward to Recreation getting a big boost to their programs with a full-time director, and looking forward to the landscape design and working with the landscape designer to help her understand all of the details that she'll need to help us make some informed decisions about where the most important places or the most likely places are to add to our recreational infrastructure in the town. I would love to have the town board budget meetings televised. I think there's a really important series of meetings that we hold, but they're not during our normal first and third Thursdays, that a lot of important discussions and a lot of important priorities are set at that time that impact the town people. The, addition of a rec director full-time, I think is going to have a big impact. And that debate has been going on and on and on for a long time. And I think just making the process more transparent to the taxpayers so that they know how we are parsing and making priorities in this town with your tax dollars, and how the budget works, because there's a lot of lines that are lumped in, and it's hard to actually drill down and understand what all is buried in each budget line. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's less obvious, and I think the more people can be a part of that, the better off we are.
Well, it is advertised.
It's advertised, we have very few people showing up. It's at a time when people are very busy, it's fall, and the time is very tight. And I think if it's televised, then it's on the YouTube and people can access it at their leisure rather than racing home from work to get here. I have a hard time getting here, so I know it's a trick. That's all I have. Thank you, and I think we're in a great place for 2023.
Are there any other town board comments?
I guess I want to, so for the 19th, we're going to be looking at the bylaws for the wastewater committee and having a discussion, or excuse me, recreation committee, and having a
Yes,
discussion.
we're going to discuss the,
Yeah,
we're going to discuss the bylaws and the
Yeah.
comments that we received.
so that's progressing, and I'm really glad that's coming together. Also, being part of the wastewater committee, that was my next thing, liaison. I do see from Charlie here that I just got an email saying that apparently on 74 Lake Amenia, the appraisal was done. So that's
It's
progressing.
already done?
No, it's not.
Got an invoice.
I haven't even signed the contract
Well, that's
yet.
what it says here. It's an invoice.
I don't think so.
You want to see it?
Well, it can't be done if I didn't sign
No, you
anything.
didn't sign it yet. But it's here. So my point is we're making progress on that. I guess the only other two things I'd like to say, it's been quite an experience over this past year working with and learning the ropes of being on a town board. And I am looking forward to this year working with this group primarily because I think we're getting a lot of good stuff done. Thank you.
It's a lot of work, isn't it?
It is.
That's why I'm here 24/7 pretty much. We're available. But we have a lot of things to do. We're getting a lot accomplished, and that's the purpose of being on the board.
Happy New Year.
Okay, make a motion to go into executive session to discuss employment and contract of a particular entity. The town clerk is excused, and we will also include Marco D'Antonio, our water operator, and the town attorney will be calling in as necessary.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi, to confirm that you're taking the minutes?
Yes.
And it's 8:29. Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Remillard?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.